So for my third way to look at the profitability of a niche is I want to look at Google, and I want to look at a couple of things. One, I just want to look at a few search terms, and then I'm going to do a little bit of keyword digging and looking at a little bit of information that I can through Google. So first of all, we're going to look at self-help again. So let's look at self-help books, programs. So you look at self-help books, and what I want to look at is, we've got, these are the general Google ads right here, but then you've also got over here, you have the AdWords ads. And this is one of the things you want to look at, because if people are paying for ads on AdWords, then they're making money on those products that they're promoting there. And the other thing is, if people are promoting through AdWords, then you can make money through AdSense on your site, because people that are paying for those ads, when you put AdSense on, all AdSense is AdWords ads put on your own site. So if people are paying for AdWords ads in your niche, then by adding AdSense to your site, that's another way that you can monetize what you're doing. So you can just look through a couple of the keywords that you're looking at for your niche and check them real quick. Just choose some of the general ones and make sure people are paying for advertisements on those particular keywords. And we'll get into keyword research here a little bit later on in one of my other videos in a few days. But that's the third way I look. And the other place I want to go is I just want to look at the Google AdWords keyword tool, which we'll go more into how to use this tool when we get into keyword research. But as far as what we're looking at right now, you want to look at this is the keyword tool that they made for AdSense or for AdWords users, but you can use it for looking at how profitable some of the keywords are. For example, if I just do self-help, or I do self-help books, or self-help programs, or get self-help, whenever we get into keyword research, we'll talk more about search volumes and stuff, but what I really want to look at right now is this competition right here, because what this competition factor is talking about is see, self-help books on CD, self-help CDs, self-hypnosis tapes. These are all self-help programs that people are paying, because this whole competition tab right here is showing what people are paying and how much competition there is for that particular keyword through AdWords. So that's going to tell you that you're gonna get some pretty steep competition through AdWords. So you may not want to be targeting these keywords for an AdWords campaign because they're going to be really expensive keywords, but for an AdSense user, for the sake of trying to choose if those keywords are profitable, if they're that competitive, then people are making money off of those keywords, which means you can make money with a site targeting these keywords in organic search for SEO. So that's one of the things that I like to look at. And look, some of these are really competitive, online books, it's pretty competitive, 40,000 monthly searches. But hypnosis audio self-help is a fairly competitive keyword, very little search volume, and it's probably going to have very little SEO competition. So there's not that many searches, but we'll get into this with keyword research. But some of these really tiny keywords like that won't get a whole lot of searches, but if you can get ranking for them, you can often convert them at a much higher rate to sales. But we'll talk about that when we get into keyword research later on. But for right now, you just want to look at, are people paying for advertisements on keywords within that niche? And yes, they are. Life coach, 301,000 searches, high competition. Cheap books, that's not really targeted to self-help, but buy books online, self-help books on CD. And that's one of the things you can do too, is just click the little box there, so it'll get rid of all the extraneous searches that are not really targeted. Publishing self-help, self-help publishing, publishing self-help books, self-help bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is another huge topic you could choose as a niche I hadn't thought about. That's why I like looking at some of the general terms too, because sometimes it'll give you some ideas for niche selections. Self-help drug addiction. Drug addiction is a big niche, something you might think about. Alcohol addiction, depression. Those are other, kind of some sub niches that you might think about targeting with your site. Rather than going general with self-help, you might choose some of these more specific sites. Debt, software, marriage counseling. So go through some of these, and you can look at what are people paying for advertisements on and how competitive are they, because if they're highly competitive with the advertising, that means that they're really profitable niche markets, and you can find a way. If they're competitive markets and people are spending money in those markets to make money, then you can make it with a blog.